Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we have some absolutely groundbreaking news that could be a massive game changer for XRP and the entire crypto market. Get ready, because things are about to get very, very interesting. 5 different spot XRP ETFs have reportedly appeared on the DTCC website. Yes, you heard that right, 5 of them. This is monumental news, and we're going to break down exactly what it means for you and your XRP holdings. First, for anyone new here, let's quickly explain what the DTCC is. The Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation is a massive financial market infrastructure in the U.S. that provides clearing, settlement, and information services for equities, corporate and municipal bonds, and, you guessed it, exchange-traded funds, or ETFs. Think of them as the behind-the-scenes plumbing of the financial system. When a financial product like an ETF is being prepared for launch, it often gets listed on the DTCC website. This is a crucial step before it can be traded on an exchange like the NASDAQ or NYSE. So, what happened? Reports started flying around social media showing listings for several spot XRP ETFs on the DTCC site. The names that popped up were from some of the biggest players in finance: Grayscale, Fidelity, BlackRock, Franklin Templeton, and Valkyrie. Seeing these names associated with a spot XRP ETF is frankly mind-blowing. These are the same titans of finance that recently launched the highly successful spot Bitcoin ETFs. Their involvement signals a level of institutional interest in XRP that we haven't seen before. Now let's address the elephant in the room. What about the Karani XRP ETF that was supposedly approved for listing on the NASDAQ? Many of you might remember that news. It was a huge story, claiming to be the first ever XRP ETF to get SEC registration. The excitement was palpable. However, that turned out to be a classic case of market manipulation. It was a false filing. The NASDAQ later confirmed that the filing was not legitimate, and the brief surge in XRP's price quickly corrected. It was a tough lesson for the market about the dangers of unverified information. That's what makes this new development with the DTCC listings so significant, but also why we must approach it with a healthy dose of caution. The appearance on the DTCC site is a much more concrete step than a random filing. The DTCC has a vetting process. This isn't just someone filling out a form online. It suggests that these major financial institutions are, at the very least, actively exploring and preparing for the launch of spot XRP ETFs. Why now? Well, the timing is perfect. The crypto market is still riding the high from the Bitcoin ETF approvals. Those ETFs have seen billions of dollars in inflows, proving there's a massive appetite for crypto products within traditional finance. On top of that, Ripple has had significant legal victories against the SEC, which has provided much-needed regulatory clarity for XRP. The courts have ruled that XRP itself is not a security when traded on secondary markets. This clarity is exactly what institutions like BlackRock and Fidelity need before they can confidently offer an XRP product to their clients. So what does this mean for the price of XRP? If these ETFs are approved and launched, the impact could be astronomical. We saw what happened to Bitcoin's price in the lead-up to and after its ETF approvals. It soared to new all-time highs. A spot XRP ETF would open the floodgates for institutional money to pour into XRP. We're talking about pension funds, endowments, and massive asset managers who can't or won't buy crypto directly from an exchange. An ETF provides them with a safe, regulated, and easy way to get exposure. Imagine BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager with trillions of dollars under management, offering an XRP ETF to its clients. The sheer scale of potential investment is hard to comprehend. It would drastically increase demand, create buying pressure, and likely send the price of XRP soaring. This isn't just about a short-term price pump. It's about validating XRP as a legitimate institutional-grade asset. It would be a permanent stamp of approval from the traditional financial world. The listings on the DTCC website included CUSIP numbers, which are unique identifiers for securities. This adds another layer of legitimacy to the findings. For Grayscale, their ticker was listed as XRPG. For BlackRock, it was IXRP. Fidelity's was FXRP, and so on. These tickers look professional and align with the naming conventions these firms use for their other products. It all points to a coordinated and serious effort. Now, it's crucial to remember that a listing on the DTCC website is not the same as an SEC approval. The SEC still has the final say. They would need to review and approve the S-1 filings from each of these companies before the ETFs can start trading. However, the precedent has been set with the Bitcoin ETFs. The SEC lost its court battle against Grayscale, which forced its hand in approving the Bitcoin products. The legal arguments for approving a spot XRP ETF are now arguably even stronger, given the clarity from the Ripple lawsuit. The SEC's main argument against spot crypto ETFs was the potential for market manipulation. However, with the Bitcoin ETFs, they accepted surveillance sharing agreements with exchanges like Coinbase. A similar structure could easily be implemented for XRP. The path is clear. The question is no longer if, but when. Think about the domino effect. Once one spot XRP ETF is approved, the others will likely follow suit very quickly. This creates a competitive environment where all these financial giants will be marketing and pushing their XRP products, bringing incredible awareness and liquidity to the market. The narrative will shift from XRP being a controversial crypto to being a mainstream financial asset, available right alongside stocks and bonds in a brokerage account. This development also has massive implications for Ripple's business. Ripple uses XRP for its on-demand liquidity service, now called Ripple Payments. A higher and more stable price for XRP, driven by ETF inflows, would make this service even more efficient and attractive for banks and financial institutions globally. It creates a powerful feedback loop. The ETFs drive up the price and liquidity, which improves the utility of the network, which in turn makes the asset even more attractive to investors. So, what should you do now? First, stay informed, but stay calm. This is exciting news, but the process will take time. We need to wait for the official S-1 filings to drop and then watch for the SEC's reaction. Don't fall for fake news or rumors. Only trust information from official sources, the SEC, the companies themselves, and reputable news outlets. This is a marathon, not a sprint. The groundwork is being laid for something truly historic for XRP. The fact that 5 of the biggest names in finance are all preparing for this tells you everything you need to know about where the smart money believes this is heading. They don't make these moves lightly. They have done their due diligence, and they see a massive opportunity. The journey for XRP has been long and full of challenges, especially with the SEC lawsuit. But this moment feels like a culmination of all that struggle. The clarity is here, the institutional demand is waking up, and the infrastructure is being built right before our eyes. If these ETFs go live, we could be looking at a completely different valuation for XRP in the near future. We're talking about a potential re-rating of the asset on a global scale. This is the kind of news that long-term holders have been waiting for. It's the bridge between traditional finance and the world of digital assets that we've all been talking about, and XRP is standing right in the middle of it. The potential here is absolutely enormous. We will be watching this story like a hawk and will bring you updates as soon as they happen. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on so you don't miss anything. This is a fast-moving situation, and you'll want to stay ahead of the curve. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think the SEC will approve them quickly? Let me know in the comments below. It's an exciting time to be in the XRP community. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.